Good afternoon and welcome back to Red Rooster Park. Thanks to our production partners in Double Take Sports, bringing you live QFAW Division 2 North action here today. Welcome to the AFLQ YouTube channel. My name's Riley Guest. I'm joined today by Mitch Simpson. We are a couple of minutes away from this QFAW Division 2 North Grand Final between the Jindalee Jaguars, the undefeated Jindalee Jaguars, and the Caloundra Panthers, who lost last year's Grand Final to Noosa. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Mitch. We've just witnessed a classic in the Div 2 North Men's Grand Final in the seniors, and I think we could be set for a pretty good one here today as well on this big field at Red Rooster Park.
Yeah, thank you, Riley, and thank you to everyone who is joining us, wherever you may be joining us from. It's an absolute sensational afternoon here at Red Rooster Park. There's a huge crowd. It's a beautiful, warm spring afternoon here at Moreton Bay. And we've got a classic 1v2 matchup between the two best sides of the QFAW Division 2 North Comp, going head-to-head in the final game of the year. I think what's most exciting, after Noosa had a stranglehold on this competition for 4 years, elevating to Division 1 this year, we are going to crown a new QFAW Division 2 North Premier. And it's going to be Jindalee or Caloundra, which is going to be absolutely outstanding for one of these two sides today. And
Caloundra played in that grand final last year against Noosa on this very oval, and they put up a really good effort. I know they were in the game well into the last quarter, so they'll be desperate to seek, well, redemption almost. Jindalee kicking to the left of screen. Just a couple of players to keep your eye on there. Captain number 1, Kat Bennett. She's featured in the best 11 times this year and also has 11 goals. Their leading goal scorer, number 7, Alexis Hamilton, and also number 18, Riley Bloor. For Caloundra, it'll be their captain, number 5, Rachel Crack. 16 goals and featured in the best 15 times this year. Also the 2023 QFAW Best and Fairest winner and 2023-2024 captain of the South Queensland women's side. Players are in positions. It is a glorious afternoon. The shadows will cast over the ground as the game goes on, as we get underway in this QFAW Division 2 North Grand Final. Let's crack on the ball straight away, looking to go forward. Caloundra gaining vital territory. I think, as we saw early in the game, or in the men's game earlier today, Mitch, it's going to be all about the territory battle here early on.
Yeah, big oval, so there's going to be plenty of opportunities to lock down that footy a long way from the opposition goal. So if you can park down inside your forward 50, you want to keep it down there as long as you can and obviously hit the scoreboard early as well. So just a little bit of a dangerous kick inside into the corridor now, as looks like Noonan there with the headgear on picking that footy up. So the ball spins out the far side. Plenty of Panthers at the drop of that footy though, as Grantel, the former Maroochydore gun, it just gets clear. So the ball out now. Opportunity here for Caloundra to put first points on the board, and they have. Bang! Emma Pericic kicks the first of the afternoon for Caloundra, and they open the scoring with inside the first 60 seconds of this grand final.
Well, you couldn't have scripted a better start for the Panthers there, Mitch. They got the ball inside forward 50 and then used the space inside forward 50 very nicely. That was a cracking kick by Perisic, running towards the boundary. Just had to aim it at the left goalpost and allow the ball to work back. I think what we might find, I know Caloundra in particular, they play on a small ground, so when you're bringing the ball out of defence today, it's going to be really dangerous and almost a trap to try and bring it through the middle. You're really going to have to use the wide flanks and the wide wings on this ground here at Red Rooster Park.
Yeah, Jindalee also very used to playing on a pretty small oval at home, so I think the big ground's going to test both of them today, and they'll really be forced to stretch out their running legs, as the Caloundra get a bit of a clearance out over the back now as it just bounces around. No one really wanting to pick up that footy early, as I think Crack goes in under that pack and releases one. So Caloundra go on here again. The pressure's been put straight back on, and they're going to line up with Emma Pericic looking for her second. She's directly in front. The breeze still blowing quite heavily over her left shoulder. So she starts this one just to the left-hand side of the post. She is a beautiful kick of the ball. She struck that pretty well. Will it get there? Just to the right-hand side as it gets caught in the breeze. But ominous signs early. A couple of clearances for Crack. A couple of strong forward-presenting options there for Pericic.
Well, Mitch, you and I called the QFAW Division 1 Women's Grand Final last week, where we saw the undefeated, or previously undefeated, Sandgate Hawks get knocked off by Sherwood by 5 points in an absolute cracking game. And I think we were all amazed at quarter time because Sherwood kicked 4 goals to, well, Sandgate didn't even score. They only had one inside forward 50, and we're seeing, I know it's very early on, but a very similar sort of tale here. even though it must be said, Jindalee's earlier game against Caloundra in the season was decided by just a point. They did knock off Caloundra by 15 points in the qualifying final. As Caloundra go forward, and a lovely intercept mark taken by Dana Sides in the headgear number 20. Risky sort of kick to switch the ball across half back. Taken well by a teammate sitting under it, and they're going to continue with the switch out here on the broadcast side. Mark dropped by Zarb, one-on-one. Zarb, a good bump on Ferguson, and then spins a kick up to the wing. Bassett kept the ball in front for the Panthers. Crack went and got it. Got a boot on it at the last moment. There's Hellard. Had a good start. Been involved early a couple of times. Dewberry into the middle. Dangerous place if you're going to go and turn the ball over. Jindalee apply good pressure. Couple of tackles and then the ball out to Higgins. She's taken down and it's holding the ball. Well done, Shani Bannister. Winning a free kick. She's got Noonan out wide if she wants to go, but she goes to Perisic, who started a bit of a hot hand at the moment. The ball sits for her. She grabs it, tries to fend off the tackle, taken to ground, and a great tackle. And in the end, the umpire will throw the ball up.
Yeah, Perisic obviously looks like the key forward target for the Panthers. Certainly giving away a few inches is her opponent in Evie Witts. Looks like she's got the match up there. So expect plenty of footy to be heading in her direction today as the ball heads out to the far side of the oval. It's a little bit more open than we might have thought to start with. Plenty of run from both sides as Crack just throws that one on the boot and gets it forward. But well marked there in defence for the Jags.
That's Bennett, the captain for the undefeated Jaguars, and her switch kick, she pulls it straight away. Dropped mark at the last moment by her teammate. She's having to follow up. A great gather and collect. Sends it forward. Low, hard skimming kick. Inside forward 50. The Jaguars go the first time today. Number 77, Indiana Holdsworth. She's pushed in the back, says the umpire. Lovely clear signal from the umpire. Holdsworth with 12 goals this year. She's at the top of the 50. She's got a couple of players lead for it. Caloundra could get a couple of spare back, although they're about 20 metres out away from the ball. Footy gets out the back, the fullback hair for the Panthers. Throws it on the boot, and in the end, the boundary line might be the friend for the Panthers, and subsequently it is. So we've seen Jindalee a couple of times already, Mitch, looking to switch the ball out of defence.
Yeah, a couple of clean movers back there as well. Dewberry's been good back there, as has Higgins, one of the vice captains. She's directing plenty of traffic at the moment, and she's the loose spare behind the footy. But Caloundra have actually got a couple, but it's been intercepted well. So
that's Sides. I think that's the second intercept mark she's taken today in just the first 6 minutes.
So not a lot of opportunities presenting. She's just going to elect to bomb it long to that hot spot. Crack's dropped herself behind the footy and takes that mark. The mature Rachel Crack plays on quickly. She looks to find a bit of space out to the far side. It's a foot race now. So there's plenty of space on this wing if this ball sits up. And it does. We saw last year one of the highlights of the year was Jess McMillan run and bounce up the wing here at Moreton Bay in last year's grand final. But she's chased down, tackled well, holding the ball. So Jindalee just applying plenty of tackling pressure at the moment to start the game.
Yeah, Bannister had a fair bit of space, but in the end, just, maybe a couple of early nervous moments for her. She'd like to have that one back again. Kick to Sienna Holland. Smarks backward of centre. And got Dewberry short if she wants to. Looks up ahead instead for Cooper. Mark dropped. Or goes through the legs of Higgins. Has to go back and fight Kelly for it. Jindalee win the day, but for how long? Bannister drops the mark. Fighting around for it. And in the end, forcing the ball up. What I'm liking so far, Mitch, is even though it's a long field and we said both sides are similar or play on a small field, that the players are spread. So I think that means if you move the ball quickly, you're going to be able to get it to your forwards. It's from this stoppage. Bradby. And players from both sides over it. Bradby picked it up, went to kick it, smothered, pocket picked. A kick from Jindalee into the middle of the grounds. Touched play on, bounced over the head of the Jindalee player. Van Wall. Bennett. Kick doesn't go very far. Knocked back into the middle of the ground. Now Jindalee should get there first. How does it bounce? Oh, she went to tap it, missed it entirely. And then had to lay the tackle, but Caloundra got the ball away. Noonan inside forward 50. Perisic drops it. Has to go back and get it. Left-hand hand pass Crack. Bursting through a couple of tackles to the hot spot, about 20 out. Jindalee, good composure. Need to get rid of it in the nick of time, and she does. It's at the top of the 50 now for the Panthers. Just got to be mindful of where you turn this ball over or when exiting from defence here at Red Rooster Park. Tapped on forward by Grentel. One of the best for the Panthers throughout the year. Goes and wins that ball back. Kicks a bit scrappy along the ground. Pressure's hot early. Crack again. How many disposals has she had? You might need to keep track of that, Mr. Timekeeper. She's having a field day already. Inside forward 50. Perisic. Players kind of stopped for a moment. And the ball was swung on the boot. Mark dropped. Stevens. Jindalee will exit broadcast side, or they'll try. Van Well will have to go back into the Panthers. Gets it. Oh, bumped as she was kicked almost front on. They gained a couple of crucial metres, the Panthers. Van Well is still down, as is Stevens. It's near the goal line for the Panthers. Can they sneak a goal? No, they can't. Ball trickles over the boundary line.
Yeah, I think it was Dana Sides there again, going in really hard. She's really presenting her physicality into this play early. But there's plenty of opportunities for Caloundra presenting themselves. They've just parked down here for most of the game. We've really only seen Jindalee head up the ground once this term. As Sides again goes the footy. Kicks it long. It's going to hold up in that breeze. Ball stays in. No, might have just gone over the boundary line there.
Good positioning by the boundary umpire. Umpires today, actually, thanks to our AFLQ umpiring partners in Bradham's Windows and Doors. Our field umpires, Hunter Harvey. Actually, we're missing one. No, the sheet's just a bit longer. Sorry, Mitch.
Jeff Thompson
there. And then in the boundary, we've got Anthony Little and Eli Jessen. And in the goals, Bernard Wright and Blake Sinclair. Players fighting over this football. I think it's probably important to note that going to the right of screen, probably favoured by the wind. As you can see at times, you'll see some teardrop banners blowing. It's definitely favouring this right forward pocket, right of screen. Sarah King caught holding the ball. So, Caloundra 1-2-8, Jindalee yet to score. We're playing 12-minute quarters today with time on for goals and behinds. It's a kick from Jindalee from their free kick. Sides lays a good tackle, had a good start. Crack picks it up. Her hands have been brilliant. Feeds it to Bradby, inside forward 50, over the head of Witts. It goes, it's out near the boundary line. Panthers won't mind it going out. Gives them a chance to have a forward stoppage.
So plenty of footy parked on this side of the ground. We expect to see that today. It's good when the breeze is blowing in favour of the crowd in the broadcast side. So plenty of Caloundra and Jindalee faithful in the crowd here today. There's a little free kick's being picked up by the umpire. Push in the back. Looks like it's going to go the way of Perisic again. So she's going to line up for her second and third shot at goal. Just a little bit awry the second one, but made no issues with her first attempt. So slight angle, she's going to have to keep it to the left of the post. Starts it right, stays right. It's another point on the scoreboard. So 1-3-9, Caloundra now lead. Jindalee yet to score.
The pressure from the Panthers has been quite good. A lot of the players being trapped in their half. Oh, kick-in's not great, Mark. Drop shot on goal. How's it going to bounce for the Panthers? Perfect. The lovely off-break. Sarah King gets a second goal of the game. Well roved. And the kick was superb. And a bit of an unforced error from the Jaguars, and all of a sudden the Panthers skip out to a 15-point lead.
Yeah, you got to make your most of the opportunities in grand finals, and that's exactly what King did there. As you said, a clever little off break. Just gave herself plenty of opportunity for that ball to spin the right way and head through. So a real handy lead now. As we said, there is a fair bit of breeze behind Caloundra at the moment. They've got an opportunity to put a bit of a stranglehold on this first term as we head through 12 minutes and into time on.
I think what's going to be really important today, Mitch, are the centre clearances, because that'll really give you first usage going forward, especially when you're going left of screen. So Jindalee vital that they win this clearance here, because it's very hard to work the ball into the wind at times. I'm interested to see whether the Jaguars might roll a couple up to this stoppage and give themselves more numbers around the football. But it's the Panthers winning the clearance. King, the recent goal scorer, fighting a one-on-one with Dewberry. Wins it, goes up, gives it to Hogarth. She has to wait for it, throws it on her right boot. Perisic is around. How does it bounce? It rolls. Perisic takes out her opponent in Renner. And it's out near the boundary line. King Spends a heap of time over it. Can't gather cleanly. Eventually the Jaguars do, and they exit wide through a flank. Mark dropped by Grantel. Had a few moments early. She's given away a free kick here, though, for High. And the ball will be with Madison Blore.
So as the minutes tick away this first quarter, it's all Caloundra at the moment. And the undefeated Jindalee Jags have their backs against the wall early in this grand final. There's a big pack of players head into this footy. Hasn't been a lot of stoppages this quarter. It's been pretty free-flowing. As the umpire picks up a little free kick there on the far side. And Bennett, the captain, will have the ball to move forward into their half for the first time in a little while. So a pack of players fly. Plenty converge on this footy at the bounce. Crack with a little toe poke there. She's hunting for another clearance. Gets wrapped up in a tackle. Bennett goes after the ball. Caloundra managed to kick it back into the corridor. A little bit dangerous now, depending on who can pick up this football. The umpire's going to say, that's mine.
So time enough yet for both teams in this opening quarter. The Panthers doing all the scoring, although they are favoured by the wind. The centre clearance work has been terrific so far. I don't know how Cracks ended up in the ruck. She's doing everything at the moment. The Panthers win another clearance. And it's going to be last touch, so it'll be a free kick to the Jaguars. Dewberry will end up with the ball in hand. So on centre wing, far side, the Jaguars would love a score before quarter time. Applying some pressure, force an error with their hand pass. Jennifer Cooper has to go and get the football. She does. Kick bounces up to half forward. The Panthers do well, keep it in front. Grantel. They overran it, the Jaguars, and now into the middle they go. King reaches for it, takes a mark. Where's Perisic? She's just being brought back around the mark. She's got an option out left, and that's where she goes. Kick holds in the air. It might be Bannister. Works well into space. Kick to Perisic from behind. At ground level now. Applies a good bump. Picks up, gives a hand pass to a teammate who had more time than she thought. It was Hellard, top of the goal square. No one really got a hand to it. So the ball at ground level now. Higgins got a kick away before she was tackled. King was reaching for it, couldn't quite grab it. Renner, cleared defensive 50. Now, Mark taken. I think this might be Crack. Runs to 30, shot on goal. She's kicked it. Rachel Crack is having a perfect first quarter, as is her side. The Caloundra Panthers taking on the undefeated Jindalee Jags. Caloundra have had all the play thus far, 6 scoring shots, evenly split between 3 goals, 3 behinds, and they lead by 21 points. Mitch Simpson.
We've touched on that there's a probably 2 to 3 goal breeze heading in the direction of Caloundra's goals, but they've had all the footy. They've had all the clean possession. They've been the ones able to kick and spread out of the contest. Jindalee just don't have an answer for him at the moment. Crack's having plenty of footy. She's had 3 or 4 clearances this quarter. Perisic is obviously causing some dramas up forward as well. But there's a number across the ground at the moment getting plenty of hands on the footy. Sarah King's been lively up forward as well. So they're absolutely dominating this first term at the moment.
So Jindalee need to get to quarter time without conceding another major. And they will. So quarter time here in this QFAW Division 2 grand final between the Jindalee Jaguars and the Caloundra Panthers. It's all the Panthers at the moment, although they are being favoured by the wind. They lead 3-3-21. Jindalee yet to score. The 3 goal scorers, Rachel Crack, Sarah King and Emma Perisic. We're going to take a break, but please do join us on the other side for some second quarter action. Welcome back to Red Rooster Park. QFAW Division 2 North. Grand final action between Jindalee Jaguars and the Caloundra Panthers. Players just making their way back into their starting spots. A very dominant opening term to the Panthers. All the scoring, although they're now kicking into the breeze. Jaguars will want to get a goal. They want to get on the board early, I suspect, Mitch Simpson.
Yeah, absolutely. And just having a look at the two huddles there, Angela Doyle, coach of the Panthers, just reinforcing how positive that first start was. And just wanting more of the same now heading into the breeze. And Daniel Holdsworth, well, for the message for his group, it was, well, it's okay, backs against the wall. There is a breeze. We know how to get it done, so let's get into it. So, great, strong tackle there, opening early as Crack tries to get going as well. She's mowed down. So Caloundra now head back into the corridor, as they've done a couple of times today, looking to really bite off that inside kick and get the ball moving. So bit of a one-on-one race for the footy now, as Cooper may get there first. Ball keeps bouncing around, no real clear possession. Cooper lays a strong tackle. The ball bouncing around. No one really able to get a clean possession, as it just spills out the back of the pack. So the ball just spoons up in the air. A few sort of tired bodies running around over that side of the oval, as no one's able to really get a possession at all. It's just kind of bouncing. And the umpire's picked up a free kick, which will provide a bit of relief for Jindalee. And they'll look to go inside 50.
So Jennifer Cooper, 5 goals so far this year, 5 times in the best as well for her side. Just takes her time. Not a lot of movement in front of her. Kind of hits one in short, and then Crack with just a bit of skill half volleyed that one, although it went out of bounds. So last touch, free kick to the Jaguars. I think Caloundra just need to be mindful of not falling into the trap of playing the way they did in the first quarter, where they could, with the advantage of the wind, use the corridor. You've got to be really careful going into the wind here. Just going a little bit wider, I think, on a big ground here at Red Rooster Park. Ball at the top of the 50 for the Jaguars. Well done by the Panthers. Kind of dancing around, keeping that ball alive. The bounce was cruel to the Jaguars. They've had a couple of bad bounces thus far today. Hallard's over the ball. Flicks a hand pass over the top to Hogarth. Can't gather cleanly. Grenshill came across and she couldn't gather cleanly, and in the end we'll have a ball up. So players from both sides spread out evenly throughout the field. We haven't seen a spare player back in defence for either team yet. It's one-on-ones everywhere. Heap of players on that football diving around, and in the end, just a stoppage. So tossed up. Lovely high throw by the umpire. Lovely two-handed tap by the Jaguars. Picked up by Crack again. Her ground balls have just been superb today. Kick in the path of Hellard, but the intercept mark cut off by the Jaguars. I think that might be their captain, Bennett. She looks inboard. You can risk it a bit more when you're going with the wind, because it'll go over the top, as it does now. And half forward for the Jaguars, on hands and knees, fighting it out. Panthers been really good at ground level today. That kick doesn't go very far, and Hannah Wheelhouse takes a strong intercept mark, about 70 metres out from goal. Holdsworth's going to have to come at this one. She's a chance here. He gets out the back. How's it bounce for her? Into her lap. Holdsworth runs away from a tackler. Shot on goal from the pocket. Is across the face. It's at the top of the goal square. Although it's a free kick going the way of the Jaguars. Was that for a hold, Mitch?
Yeah, it looks like a little hold or chopping the arms potentially. Regardless, it's going to be a shot from point-blank range for the captain, Hayley Robinson, I think that is.
She makes no mistake. The Jaguars are on the board. First goal of the game for them. Margin back to 15 points. I know they haven't been inside forward 50 too often today, the Jaguars, but I really like the play of Indiana Holdsworth there. Just kind of allowed the ball to run on, stayed on her toes, and then got the ball to the right spot, which is the top of the goal square.
Well, certainly the scoring end. All 4 goals, 3 behinds have been kicked now to the right of screen.
And even in the earlier Division 2 North men's grand final, we saw the last quarter, Sandgate kicked 4 goals going that way to come from behind and win an absolute thriller against the Alexandra Hills Bombers. So back in the middle. Centre clearances have been vital today, and this one's going the way of Jindalee. Up to half forward. Great gather. Throws it on her boot inside forward 50. Mark is dropped. Holdsworth surrounded again. Her opponent falls on the ball, fires out a good hand pass. Crack went the fend, got tackled. Umpire said play on. Maybe that's holding the ball. That's your prior opportunity when you put the fend off and you get tackled. And Crack's following up with a strong tackle, bringing the ball to a stoppage. Nearly 5 minutes gone in this second term. QFAW Division 2 North Grand Final. Crack just soccers it a couple of metres in front, picks it up. Kick is smothered. Vine combs around it. Bennett 2 for the Jaguars. They 2 co-captains. Bit of a dump kick from the Panthers outside of their forward 50. Outside of their defensive 50, sorry, before the ball goes out of bounds, and we'll have a ball up at the top of the 50 for the Jindalee Jaguars. Tossed up. Pretty even in the ruck there, Sides and Emery. It's about 20, 25 out now from the Jaguars' goal. Cracks around the footy, as is Bennett for the Jaguars. She flicks a hand pass forward. Sides can't pick it up. She's there laying a two-person tackle. Cracks over it again. She just never fumbles at ground level. Her kick went sideways and then backwards. But because it's inside the forward 50 for the Jaguars, instead of being last touch, it's going to be a ball up. So a few more stoppages in this quarter so far, Mitch.
Yeah, we've just seen the ball sort of park down that end now, and Jindalee really look to lock it in inside their forward 50. They'll certainly want some reward for effort, though. Caloundra obviously are able to put 6 scoring shots on the board. They've got one early here, but they want to make sure they can capitalise on their opportunities. There's a great tackle there. Umpire says play on, and Caloundra clear the footy out wide. So the foot race is on here to the broadcast wing. Caloundra are going to win it, and they go in hard. There's a fair bit of tackling pressure there applied by Jindalee, and they've managed to turn the ball over. So great bit of work there. So the ball now moves forward. Crack looks to mop up, but she's gang tackled by 2 or 3 Jags. The ball spills out. Plenty of fumbly footy now as Jindalee apply all the pressure. They're hungry for it. What can happen here? So there's a couple of players out now for Jindalee if they can get it. The kick is smothered. It's going to roll out over the boundary line, and we'll have a ball up.
Mitch, I've just seen a sign that some of the Jindalee fans have that says, "Go my Pookie." And that's a word that I've seen around a bit these days, and I just do not understand it. I do not understand it. Bennett had the clearance. Ball was knocked out of her hands as she was tackled. Jindalee keeping the ball alive in their forward line. Bennett again, brought down by Crack. Oh, almost driven in the back there was Blore. And the Panthers will exit. I want to get a hand on this before it goes out of bounds. Wrigglesworth kicked 3 goals this year. Got a hand pass away in the nick of time. Blore got rid of it. On hands and knees, the Panthers feeding the ball out into a bit of space. About half a dozen players around this football as it nears the boundary line. Blore again involved a couple of times. Sees it out over the boundary line, and in the end we'll have a ball up.
So the shadow's just starting to take effect now on the ground. It's a beautiful afternoon for football. As we're back underway, sort of a 50-50 ruck tap to no one in particular. Looks like that one's going to go out on the full. And Caloundra will have the opportunity just to reset, just take a breath, and take control here again on their half-back line.
Crack with a free disposal. I don't even know if she needs it. She seems to be able to get the footy by herself more than easily enough. So her kick.
It's a poor one, though.
Yeah, her first blemish of the day, it must be said.
Yep, and certainly that breeze just catching hold of that footy and seeing it out over the boundary line.
Do you think, Mitch, that Caloundra, even though we've probably got 4 minutes to time on and then a couple of minutes afterwards, is that kick almost a game of force and backs at the moment along this boundary line, can kind of look to park the bus and get to half-time with a 15-point lead? Yeah,
Maddie Blore there just one off the side. Yeah, look, I think we've seen all day. It's a relatively low-scoring ground. Bit of breeze about, big deck. It certainly forces sides to, work really hard for their points today. So I reckon a 15-point lead would be very, very happy for Caloundra if they can keep them at bay. So they move forward sort of into attacking for the first time.
Well, they're a chance here.
This term. So a foot race on now. Pericic with the footy. She's taken out there.
She had her head over the ball. She's going to win herself a free kick.
Yeah, sloppy bit of play there by Jindalee. She'd sort of gone to ground. Didn't need to put that much pressure on. Kicking into the breeze here from about 35-40, might be a little bit beyond her. Elects just to go short. So clever little kick now. Caloundra with an opportunity to kick one against the tide. Pack of players converge on this footy, and a high free kick has been paid.
I think what we saw with that play, Mitch, when it started back with Crack from her second kick up against the boundary line, as she went in a bit more, not corridor, but between the wings. There's King's shot on goal from 20 metres out. She's got it. And against the wind, against the run of play, almost Sarah King gets her second goal of the game. And the Panthers' first of the quarter. Their margin is back to what it was at quarter time. A very healthy 21 points. Just going back to what I was saying before. I know you're busy with official duties there, Mitch. Just Crack's ability to realise where she went wrong with the first kick and then change the kick. Just not corridor, but just in the middle of the wing. And her was Brie Grentel, who's had a pretty good game so far. Read the flight of the ball perfectly, sat in front as it dropped. And then they were just able to get the ball out into space for the Panthers. And that's when they've looked dangerous at all times today.
Yeah, both sides a class outfit. And Caloundra proving to be a class above at the moment still. Just as there's a little free kick paid here, just a quick around the grounds, Redland Victoria Point in the QAFL prelim have kicked a goal on the siren to knock off reigning premiers Aspley.
Wow.
So Redland Vicky Point will meet Morningside in next Sunday's QAFL Grand Final. Wowee.
Aspley out in straight sets. That is a surprise and a shock, to be honest. So we'll have a new premier in the quaffle as well, as we will in this QFAW Division 2 North Grand Final.
As we're back live.
I must admit, I thought we were pausing for a free kick. The way the umpires were moving, but in the end, the Jaguars took the ball inside forward 50, and they'll have a stoppage about 20 out from goal. So I know the Panthers last one at the quaffle flag in 2020. Mitch, how far back do we need to go for a Redland Victoria Point flag?
Oh, someone that has a bit more detailed history of Queensland footy than I do. Riley?
As we see a free kick going the way of the Jaguars. So they'll have a chance to have a shot on goal. It's Holdsworth, Indiana Holdsworth. She looks very dangerous every time the ball goes near her inside the forward 50. She'll be kicking on about a 45-degree angle, 35 metres out. Holdsworth. Nice approach. And just a kick that looks very nice, but in the end it was just off to the left. So just a minor score to the Jaguars. So we're ticking the time on in this second quarter. It's been the Panthers' day so far, although the Jaguars managed to lock this ball in from the kick in. Driven into the ground without the footy. It's going to be a free kick and another shot on goal for the Jaguars.
So I think as we tick in deep into the second quarter here, as we've gone through regular time and into time on, they really need to hit the scoreboard again here. So it struck pretty well off the boot. Is it touched on the line? I think it might be play on.
I think we're actually just going to have the goal umpire and the field umpire confer. Sorry, Mitch.
Looks like a goal.
So a very important goal for the Jindalee Jaguars. They get the margin to 14 points, sorry. And still plenty of time to get a couple of goals before the long break. It was Tiana Stevens, number 14. Actually, her first goal of the year. Not a bad time to get your first goal of the year, hey, Mitch.
Absolutely, on the big stage. And they pegged back the margin just to 14 points. Crucial goal, really. Clearly the scoring end with that breeze heading to the right of screen. And they needed to make sure they at least get a couple on the board. But Caloundra, having kicked one against the tide and against the breeze earlier this quarter, they still hold a healthy margin as we tick towards half time. So clearance there, well done by the Jags. They're out and on the attack again. So it's a foot race once more out to this near side. Taken without the footy. Umpire says that's a free kick. Rightly so. So Jindalee going to have the opportunity to head back into their attacking zone with just a couple of minutes left in the half. If they can get another one here, they will feel they are right back in this game.
So Zarb with the ball in hand. She's got options. She's going to go long to the goal square. And I think that might be Crack. getting back to take an intercept mark. Her experience just help her side kill a couple of moments off before the long break. Out to Grantel, brings it to ground level. Sort of a risky kick in board. How's it going to bounce? Blaw, oh, nice little hand pass out the side to Hamilton. Inside forward 50, the Jaguars. Forced out over the boundary line, maybe not. Crack with the footy, kick smothered. Ferguson around it for the Panthers. Off the ground go the team in front so far today. Heaps of players around this ball. Jindalee needed to try and get it in a bit of an open space. Someone went to hack it off the ground. Blaw, kick smothered, and it went out of bounds in the end. So time enough for both sides to score before the major break. It's 14 points the way of the Panthers. 2 goals to 1 the way of Jindalee this quarter. Just see a bit of fatigue creeping in these ground balls. A bit hard to collect. Madeline Blaw tries to take on Crack. Ball was knocked out to play on. Hoger. 2-person tackle. Fights her way through it nicely and flicked a hand pass over the top to Grantel. Spinning kick to King. She runs away from her opponent and then throws a little almost Gaelic-like kick. It didn't work out for her teammate though. Holland grabbed the ball and streamed away, and then Crack. The great intercept mark. Just saves the day for the Panthers, Mitch.
Yeah, the mature head takes a really strong mark. Just takes a few more seconds off the clock. She knows it's close to half-time and that a 14-point lead will be a pretty good result for the Panthers. But a kick out here has found the Jags with an opportunity to kick one late. Goes to a contest, but there's 2 behind the footy, and who is it again? None other than Rachel Crack. It's about her 3rd intercept mark in the last couple of minutes. She gets her side out of trouble, and it might just be enough to escape danger.
So Bannister around, goes to ground. Her opponent beats her. Good hip and shoulder from both players. Panthers come away with the football. Grantel bursts onto it. Puts it out in the path of Edwards. And she takes the mark on the second juggle. Taylor Edwards. About 90 metres from home. Puts it to the forward flank. Cut off by the Jaguars. Couldn't hold the mark. Players from both sides jumping over the footy. And that'll be it in the opening half of this QFAW Division 2 North Grand Final. The Caloundra Panthers 4-3-27 leading the Jindalee Jaguars 2-1-13. Goal scorers so far for the Panthers, 2 to Sarah King, Rachel Crack and Emma Perisic with 1 each. And then for the Jaguars, Tiana Stevens and Hayley Robinson having 1 goal each as well. We're going to take a break, but join us on the other side for all of the second half action here at Red Rooster Park.
Well, good evening and welcome back to Red Rooster Park here, home of the mighty Moreton Bay Lions. It is the QFAW Division 2 North Grand Final as the lights take effect and the shadows begin to cast right across the oval. It's a picturesque evening and a spicy second half of action awaits us, with Caloundra holding a 14-point lead over the currently undefeated Jindalee Jags. It's set up to be an absolute grandstand final quarter as the siren blows. And the umpire throws the ball up to get us underway. So the ruck there goes uncontested, was lush. Footy just bouncing up. No mark taken. Ball didn't carry 15. So the ball's now headed straight forward with Caloundra getting the first clearance, only as far as the Jags backline, however. And a group of players jump on this footy and it'll be a ball up. So Caloundra kicked away early in the first. Kicked one to Jindalee's second in the second term. The breeze has started to drop. There's been a pretty strong breeze blowing left to right of screen all day. So you'd expect it not to be favouring too much as Sides gets tackled on the far side. And Caloundra look to rebound this footy. But it's a 2-on-1. And Jindalee take the first opportunity to go inside 50 of the third quarter. They're going to cut the numbers at the drop of this ball, so it's in absolute no man's land at the moment. Real risky as two players converge on that footy. Jindalee just throws it on the boot there. Hamilton. Can it be marked? No. Snap around the corner's a quick one. Wheelhouse. Well, she's just wheeled around and she's kicked the first of the third. And pegs the margin back to just 8 points. Perfect start there for Jindalee, Riley.
Yes, Mitch, and I think we'll see the wind play very little effect in this second half, which will make it an even contest for both teams throughout the entirety remaining time of this contest. Jindalee just starting to get on top in the centre clearance is something that's probably been lacking from them a bit in the opening half. Interested to see if their ruck goes up this time. That, as you said, Mitch, that last contest was uncontested. Bennett against Emery. And a free kick going the way of the Jaguars for a hold. So it'll be Riley Blore. She'll move the ball quickly, looking for Bennett. Over the top. Gets out the back. Hand pass flick nicely to the runner, but coming by. And the ball will dribble over the boundary line. So the margin 8 points to the Panthers. The two games between these two sides earlier this year, Jindalee prevailing by a point in round 8 and by 15 points in the semi-finals a couple of weeks ago. Caloundra a dominant win at home last week to secure their place in today's grand final. I think they won 47-0 against their opponents. And so far they're producing the goods today.
It's actually relatively high scoring. Only half a footy gone 3-1-19 and 4-3-27. Already surpassed the qualifying final tally from just a couple of weeks ago between these two. So big open deck is able to produce some scores, which we thought it might have been a little bit tight and tussling before the game. But a strong mark taken there deep in defence by the Panthers. Comes back across now to open up onto this near side. Bit of an ugly kick off the boot, but it's effective, and Bannister has it. So she goes wider again. The torpedo, love to see that, as Pericic has pushed right up the ground. Great shepherd there, well done. But Crack attacks that footy like an absolute cannonball. She'd be best on ground by a mile at the moment. Intercept marks, clearances, and she's had her kick smothered, but she follows up second efforts. It's what coaches love, and she's found her teammate in Hellard. So Hellard now goes over the top, and Caloundra with a little bit of overlap and runners inside. Elects just to hold it up. Noonan. She goes in now, looks at Pericic. Not a great kick. But there's a few one-on-ones around the contest now if this ball can spill out. Who knows who footage it'll be, but it will be a ball up.
Maybe they're not the best option taken there, as Jindalee's defence was flooding back. They had spare players out wide, the Panthers. They've got a stoppage about 70 from home. Hoger competes well for the Panthers. And she's finding that football and scrapping a kick forward, although it's well cut off. Good intercept mark by the Jaguars, courtesy of Higgins, although her switch kick isn't great. Landing in the lap of Noonan. Perisic is the one she's looking for, although Bannister's worked a long way to get that mark. She's about 50 from goal. She'll go to the hot spot, and it might bounce through. Oh, mark dropped at ground level. The Panthers get a cruel bounce on hands and knees, flinging it out. Oh, good bump there on Lush. Ball's still going. Umpire says play on. No one really kind of moving on it. How's the umpire going to call it? Sees it as a ball up. An almost moment there for the Panthers, Mitch.
Yeah, close. And I think the ability for them to get where they are was all set up on the back of the hard running of Bannister. You can get real reward for effort here in this big oval if you're prepared to go and run and lead out at the footy. She was rewarded, and a strong bit of effort there from Higgins. Gets that ball out of defence. Little shove under the footy now. So it's going to go Caloundra's way. Little unfortunate there as they may have been out the back. It's going to take a decent kick with that breeze now just dropping a little bit. Waste no time. Finds, intercepted I should say, by Sides. So Sides just willing her players on to get it out the far side. A strong kick there, up the ground. Finds Dewberry I think on that far side. So she's called the play on. In fact the umpire will pay 50. Hadn't called play on yet. And, of course, the stand rule catching the Caloundra player unawares. So Jindalee being marched up the ground and will put themselves right back in an opportunity here to attack goal. You'd expect this kick to head inside forward 50 as the players stream now back in behind the ball. Crack sitting loose, and it's going to go that way. You'd expect Crack to head towards his footy. It could read that a mile off. So I think Jindalee just need to be a little bit conscious around how they're entering the forward 50, as Crack just proving quite an impenetrable wall back there in defence. But the Jags might have a second opportunity at the ball. They just try to surge it forward, soccering it off the ground. As the ball just kind of pinballs around, no one able to pick it up. And I suspect the umpire will probably say, let's ball it up, but allows it to play on. I don't mind that in a grand final. Let's try and keep it open. But finally comes to rest and we'll have a ball up. They've got to do something about Rachel Crack, Jindalee. She's just running rings down there in the back line. I think she might have just jumped up in the ruck again there.
She's just got no one on her. And I don't know whether the Jags coach or was the Boars now in a dangerous spot for the Panthers. The Jaguars every chance here. Nice gather, good hand pass back to Eid. Kick top of the goal square. Although front position and a good intercept mark taken by the Panthers. I think, the Jaguars coach, Daniel Holdsworth, just, does he ponder a tag potentially on Crack? Because she just work rate, gets into space and is able to impact at every contest she's at. Sides, gathers the ball, puts a kick up. Great spot. Although a really strong mark overhead by Kylie Lush. Saves the day for the Panthers. She kind of rushes her kick, looking for Perisic. It's a 1-on-2. Panthers need a bit of support. Well done by Eid to Cooper. Back to the dangerous spot as it's been going all quarter for the Jaguars. They've only got the one goal so far. Hand pass away in the nick of time. It might be Crack who gathers and clears it away, although Eid cuts it off straight away. Taid, 10 goals this year. And with that win, just it's starting to pick up a little bit looking at the teardrop banners. It's probably blowing more directly across the ground, so right to left, although Eid puts it very far wide to the right. Two Panthers players kind of intercepted each other. Lucky hat kick off the ground. Works out for the Panthers. They get the ball outside of their defensive 50. Another good hat kick gets the ball about another 10 metres. Perisic parked herself over it. Gave a hand pass to a teammate who fumbled. Pretty easy one. In the end, there's heaps of pressure around the ball. Someone needs to pick it up. Well done there by Noonan. Good smother though. The Jaguars need to get the next goal, you think. They don't want to go out beyond 3 goals again. Bennett still going hard. The co-captain for the Jaguars sends her team inside forward 50. Her teammates at the drop of the ball can't take the mark. Might be Crack again having a bit of influence on play. In fact, this is her coming across now, but she's not going to be able to impact it because it's a ball up. think another important thing to note, Mitch, I'm not exactly sure who's out, but the Panthers are down to 4 on the bench. They suffered an injury in that first half. Someone did either a shoulder or a collarbone and unfortunately are in a sling. Crack's taken down in a strong two-person tackle. Kind of flung at the end and landed on a head. The Jaguars just got to be mindful they don't give away silly free kicks from that sort of play. Lights are fully on here at Red Rooster Park. Sides winning the hit out. Knocks Crack out of the way and then gets the free kick for a hold. The Jags kicking the only goal of this third quarter so far. 14-point lead to the Panthers at halftime is now just at 8. They lose a bit of time here with the clock still rolling, the Jaguars. They'd love to get another goal before three-quarter time. Sides kicks a pretty good one. Her teammate comes at the ball, dive for it, but drop the mark. Although Sides will get another chance, though. She does drop into that one, in fact, and then has to go and pick it up. In the end, it's just a hack kick, spinning high inside forward 50. It lands about 20 metres out. Sticks the big fend out, and the umpire's going to call this as high. I think the non-controlling umpire might have signalled to the umpire in control to pay high, so it's going to be a shot on goal for the Jaguars. Number 7, by the looks of it, Alexis Hamilton. Kicked 19 goals thus far this year. She's directly in front, and the kick will probably be about 30 metres out, and this would make it a 2-point ball game. Hamilton. A long, steady approach. Kind of stutters now, and her kick. It's got the legs, and it's a goal. Gets over the Caloundra defenders. And it's as close as it's been since we've started this game. The Jaguars are back within 2 points. And a nice finish there by Alexis Hamilton. Her 20th goal of the year. And going against, or not to the scoring end, we've seen a heap of goals kicked to the right of screen today, Mitch. The Jaguars have found a way to get themselves right back in this contest.
It was just repeat efforts, just stoppage after stoppage. They continued to rebound the ball back inside their attacking 50. Caloundra held strong for a fair period of time there, and eventually something was going to crack, and it eventuated in a goal. Albeit a bit of a lucky free kick to get that one, but Hamilton is an absolute sharpshooter, and you don't want to be giving her too many opportunities. And as you say, the margin's just back to 2 points now, as we've ticked well through halfway mark of this third quarter. There's a few rotations being made as the legs start to tire on this big oval. It might be a battle of the fitness as we head into the last stages of this grand final. As Jindalee go on the attack again here. It's a 2-on-1 at the moment. Strong bit of bodywork, cleverly done. Although the kick comes back in board. Dangerous spot. Touched there, so no mark. Play on. The ball's around. Plenty of players throwing themselves. They know it's a grand final. The pressure's up. And it's a foot race now as players converge at the footy. Caloundra get there first, but unfortunately kick it the opposite direction. May find a teammate, so it may work out okay. So a clever bit of work now as the ball heads up the ground. It's a 3-on-2 to Caloundra. How's it going to bounce? It bounces away at Jindalee. Might be holding the ball. Got a hand pass away. Play on. So Noonan now with the footy. She's going to be wrapped up. She drops the ball, and that's holding the ball. So I think the tackling pressure at the moment, Riley, from Jindalee has gone up a notch. And Caloundra, all the space they had in the first half has really disappeared on them now.
And they're just starting to fumble for the first time today, Mitch, which we didn't see a lot in the first half as the Jaguars dropped that mark. Hat kick forward. Perisic gathers the footy and bursts through. Risky kick into the middle of the ground. Mark dropped by Holland. Now it's centre-half back for the Jaguars. Holland needs to be composed, and she is. And a kick to Higgins is a good one. Yeah, the Jaguars have definitely lifted their pressure and intensity around the football as that kick finds Dewberry. And the Panthers just making a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes that we haven't seen from them thus far in this game. Good mark by Bennett. Yeah, sorry.
Strong bit of controlled footy at the moment. Just seen a couple of marks there. They're probably going to have another one here. They do. So they've just chipped away up the wing, and they're going to find themselves now heading into inside 50. So Crack's in front of the footy, so she won't be able to get in front of this one. As the ball heads down on the ground, there's players streaming inside for Jindalee. The hand pass just misses a teammate, but they keep surging this ball forward. Spills the mark there. The umpire says that'll be mine. In fact, holding the ball's paid. She's dragged it back in. Annika Vinecombe pinged there.
Indiana Holdsworth shot on goal coming up.
in the number 77. A number you don't often see at this level of footy. She looks pretty confident, comes in, strikes it pretty well off the foot, looks straight, doesn't have the carry. I think it's been touched on the line. In fact, it's play on. And I reckon that's a cheeky kick. It's probably going to be a lasso there, is it? No, touched off hands. In fact, it's inside the 50, so of course it'll be a ball up.
So Jindalee, the only team that can score, you would think, in this quarter. Caloundra knocked the ball well away in the ruck. Heap of players around it. Crack tackled. Gathers and then turns and turns and kept turning, and then she was tackled. And then she was taken high. So that'll be just about it. She tries to be clever and play on, but the umpires are aware to her tricks. That should be all the scoring we have in this third quarter. Jindalee fighting back superbly, kicking 2 goals and holding Caloundra scoreless. I think we're set for a grandstand finish, this QFAW Division 2 North Grand Final. That's 3-quarter time here at Red Rooster Park. A strong quarter from the Jindalee Jaguars. They've reduced the margin to 2 points. It was 14 at half-time. But their goals coming courtesy of Hannah Wilhouse, Alexis Hamilton, that quarter. Reduced the margin to 2 points. We're going to take a break. We've got final quarter action from Red Rooster Park coming up in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to Red Rooster Park. Moments away from the start of this last quarter QFAW Division 2 North Grand Final. Caloundra Panthers have led all day. The Jindalee Jaguars have been undefeated all season. Someone's going to win this grand final. It's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out. Caloundra skipped away with a 3-goal first quarter, and since then it's games predominantly been played on Jindalee's terms. But they trail by 2 points. The umpire gives a perfect throw to get us underway in this final quarter. Bennett down the sides. Clearance go the Jaguars' way. They go inside forward 50, although it should come straight back out courtesy of the Panthers' defence. Kick off the ground works to Bannister. She doesn't have a heat to go to, although her kick to her teammate is perfectly landed on the chest, dropped by Noonan. Throws it on the boot. Should be Perisic. The opening goal in the grand final. Wheels and deals inside forward 50. Although it goes straight to an opponent who eventually juggled the mark.
So two very motivated huddles at three-quarter time, pop down at ground level. There's a lot of energy about these two groups. Absolutely hangs in the balance. I think the first goal here will be critical because I suggest it's going to be a real momentum-burning final stanza to this match. I suspect whoever can get on the board early here, whether it be Caloundra holding that 2-point lead and just extend their margin or Jindalee to hit back in front, I suspect whoever can get the first, they're going to ride that wave into the premiership. That's my tip, Riley. First goal scorer here wins the game.
Well, we'll have to remember that one, Mitch. Although I'd be interested to know what your tip is if we have no goals in this last quarter. Free kick going the way of the Jaguars. It'll be interesting to see as the lights now take full effect on the field. Just if we see the footy get a little bit slippery and a little bit harder to pick up and a little bit dewy. And it brings in the grand finals. That kick goes straight to Rachel Crack. She couldn't have asked for it to be placed any better for her. She swings around and kicks it to half forward. Mark drop by Higgins. 3-on-2 Jaguars with the numbers. They knock the ball forward, but here comes Crack. She goes the one-handed pickup when she probably needed to go two. Sides jumped on the footy. And in the end, we get a ball up. Mitch, wonder whether it might be just a little bit dewy out there and a little bit harder to pick up in this last quarter.
Yeah, and that's where the scoreboard pressure of Caloundra, you touched on no goals, it may be a goalless final term. And I think territory will be everything at the moment. If they can get this footy and just park down there as they sort of enter forward 50 on the hand of a Jindalee player. Perisic now with the footy. Her kick smothered. Kicks forward now. It's a 2-on-1 in the forward 50. In fact, a 3-on-1. And Jindalee have done an absolute outstanding job to turn that one over. And in fact, it's going to become a 3-on-1 the opposite way. So Jindalee with all the numbers here. If they play it sensibly, they'll be able to get out of jail and send it up the ground. But there is Rachel Crack, the heartbeat of the Caloundra Footy Club, just mopping up again as she's done for 3 quarters already. She has a bounce, but it gets away from her. Again, suspect that the dew on the ground may be starting to take effect. And it goes out over the boundary line, and I think will just be a ball up, or has it gone off last touch out there? No, it'll be a ball up.
I think we saw when we were covering the QFAW Division 1 Grand Final last week, Mitch, how, especially with the tight nature of the score, the ball can just be locked in and we have stoppage after stoppage, especially, as we said, those dewy conditions start to take hold. Now, Jindalee just got to be mindful they don't keep feeding Rachel Crack, because that hit out's gone straight to her. She's wrapped up. Been impressed with the way that one of Jindalee's co-captains, Kat Bennett, has been able to insert herself on the game after half-time. She's been thrown into the ruck. She's having an influence both in the air and at ground level. She's winning that hit out. Players from both sides around the football again, and we'll have another stoppage. 3.5 minutes played in the final term here. We have had no score yet, so the score remains as it were at 3/4 time. The Panthers leading by 2 points. High throw from the umpire. Cracked the clearance. King in front. Can't take the mark as the Jaguars had players come across and intercept. Risky sort of kick for the Jaguars. They've got to be clean. A hand pass back is nice. A kick across defence, maybe not so. Bit of a race out here. Bannister gathers first on her left foot. Inside forward 50. Perisic will come in from the side. Try and impact. Bannister's going to kick it to herself and then keep going. The ball's about 3 or 4 metres out from the goal line. Bannister went off the ground. It skewed away to the right. And then risky kick. Noonan now needs to be clean. She is. Kick smothered. Charged down nicely by the Jaguars. Top of the goal square. Goalkeeper on the line. Now, what's happened there? I think it's just in general play. But
Mark was paid, I think.
Was it? I must admit, Mitch, I didn't think it went 15 metres. Anyway, ball back in play now. Sides and Bennett for the Jaguars. There's Crack on hands and knees. Fed a hand pass out. It was cut off. Kick off the ground was innovative. Worked out for Hoga. Flicked it to Noonan. She was taken in a tackle. Ball spilled out. Cracks around this one as well. And Hoga copped one in the stomach and then picked the footy up, and then she got tackled. So ball up. 5 minutes, no score. Ball at the wrong end of the ground for the Jaguars. Emery, Noonan, straight on the boot. In front the Panthers are. Perisic around it. Kick smothered as she was tackled. Went and got it again. Fed a hand pass out. In fact, no, she didn't. Umpire said holding the ball. Jaguars bench very happy with that decision. And a 50-metre penalty. So vital territory given away for free by the Panthers. Cannot afford to be ill-disciplined.
No one on the mark here, so she's got an opportunity to just take some green space and head up the ground as she does. Goes short. Dangerous if they turn it over here, though. Caloundra with the numbers at the drop of the footy. If it gets out of the front of the pack here, Noonan may get it. She does. Quick kick forward. It's going to be taken by Jindalee, but a strong defensive forward pressure act there. But it gets back to Noonan. Slaps it forward on the boot. The mark's taken there.
Is it Vinecombe? 10. Number 10, sorry. Kylie Lush. In front, a good grab in dewy conditions. Lush from 30 metres out, directly in front. Her kick on goal is away to the right, and Bennett takes a good mark. Well played there by King a couple of moments ago to bring the ball to ground level.
So we've talked about Crack a lot throughout this game, but Bannister's the one for me. She's got plenty of pace and has on a couple of occasions in the last quarter and a half gotten on the outside and injected plenty of ball movement for the Panthers. So she'll be one to look out for over the next 10 minutes or so as Jindalee head up the ground. It's a 3-on-2. How's it going to bounce? It slips through, comes back to Crack. She fires it on that trusty right boot. Can't quite find a mark, but there's plenty of Panthers at the drop of this ball. So Lush with it again. They're all lining up now, Caloundra. It's a 3-on-2. Can it be taken? Strong tackle there after she dropped the mark. So a good bit of defensive pressure there again by Perisic. She's been outstanding today as well, whether it be deep in 50, forward 50, or up the ground. If you can't take the mark there, a stoppage is the next best option. So well done. Inside
forward 50, Lush gets the footy, throws it on her boot, dribbles wide of the goals, near the boundary line. Noonan might have given away a free kick. In fact, the out-of-control umpire has given away that free kick. I'll tell you, Mitch, actually, Bannister's come to the bench for a rest, as has Taylor Edwards, who's had a few vital touches. So it's a free kick. Umpires are conferring and explaining to the players it's a free kick on the way of the Panthers, going to Noonan. She's done well to improve the angle here.
Yeah, she's a step or two inside the mark.
Left foot kick was always to the left. First score of the final term. Nearly 8 minutes gone. I think you might be right about first goal or next goal wins, Mitch.
Yeah, as the juice clearly starts to set in. There's a few tired bodies now. It's been a pretty hot and heavy game of footy.
Bannister's back on the field. I'm interested to see whether Jindalee might roll all their forwards up to give themselves a heap of space to work into if they can get the ball forward. Noonan's around the ball again, laying a tackle on sides, and the Panthers won't mind their stoppage. Still plenty of time left in this game, although it is playing out eerily similar-ish to last week's grand final in the QFAW Div 1. Crack's going to run onto this ball, get a kick away. It went a couple of metres. She had to go back and get it again. She's still going. A third effort, a fourth effort laying a tackle. Noonan's last quarter's been very good. She's going to have to go and try and get this ball, but she's held out by a good shepherd from Jindalee, who have numbers here. Can they be clean? Dancing around a couple of would-be tacklers. Gives the ball to the teammate. Throws it on the boot up the half forward. No mark taken by Hamilton. Kicked the goal in the third. Taylor Eade been really good since coming on in the second half, and she just throws it back into play, but fortunately for her, it was out of bounds before she threw it back in. Otherwise, it would have been a free kick to the Panthers. And a good spot here for the Jaguars. Their best field possession they've had in this final term. They haven't scored. They still trail by 3 points. Sea fatigue's having an effect on players. Perisic has worked up the ground in this last quarter. Now there is no one around this footy as it's kicked into the middle of the field here at Red Rooster Park. Hamilton got it on the boot and sent it forward. Panthers gathered the ball first. Strong tackle by the Jaguars. Ball dropped out. Umpire said play on. Hoger has to try and go and get it. One of the smallest players out on the field. Heap of players jump on the footy, and in the end, umpire composes and says we'll have a ball up. Jindalee got a spare about 80 metres behind this ball, and it looks like the Panthers spare is at this stoppage just forward of it. Might be Perisic at the moment. That might be her opponent who's drifted back.
Yeah, I think if you're Jindalee, you really don't want to have a spare that deep. You're not really trying to protect the game at the moment. You want to be taking this on, and you can see the player now off screen head up towards his pack, because you really need to be putting that forward pressure on and get a score here, whichever way you can. So a bit of a volley in the air from Caloundra. It goes nowhere as the ball gets kicked out into a dangerous corridor position. Crack chases after this one. I tell you what, if she can get her side over the line today, it is a true captain's knock from Crack. But she's turned the footy over. So strong mark taken there as they look to rebound straight away. So Blore just holds up. No one really presenting at the footy for her. Suspect she's going to have to kick long to a one-on-one. But there are plenty of Panthers behind this footy. Although it spins out wide, they do have a spare Jindalee. They might just be happy to take this one out over bounds for another stoppage.
I just wonder, Mitch, as we enter the final moment or the final minutes of this game, how much Caloundra's loss in last year's grand final might just motivate a couple of players, in particular Crack. Just these extra couple of defensive efforts they're going to need. The ball's in the wrong end of the field at the moment for the Panthers. Perfect end for the Jaguars. Tossed up, Crack in the ruck. Ball was knocked out of her hands. Jaguars keep it alive. Holdsworth's had a pretty good game. Her kick gained about 10 metres, though it's right near the boundary line. The Jaguars would not mind this going out of bounds as it will bring it back to a better part of the field. Lights in full effect here at Red Rooster Park. Not long to go in this Div, in this QFAW Div 2 North Grand Final. Knocked down, sides. He's out near the boundary line. 1 on 3, she's got to win. Boundary umpire says it's gone out. So everyone's out on their feet. It's been a cracking grand final. Caloundra jumped out early with a 3-goal lead. Jindalee have been trying to get in front since then. They've reeled it into a 3-point lead. Holdsworth throws a hand pass back into the field of play. They're doing it in yards at the moment. Chance for the Jaguars. Snap on goal is wide. Can the mark be taken? No. It gets to the boundary line in the other forward pocket for the Jaguars, who will have a ball up. Still plenty of time to go as we tick into time on in this last quarter, Mitch.
So still Jindalee with 2 players behind the footy. You'd expect that you want to be rolling those forward and being an impact on the contest. A free kick's been paid here. Not quite sure why. Something's being picked off in that contest. So there is an all-important shot at goal now. With a few minutes remain, a real low-scoring affair. If Jindalee get this one, I've committed to the first goal scorer of the term being the Premier. She's kicked it. Jindalee hit the lead.
Kat Bennett. Goal umpire did not move. That was a perfect kick. She's put her side in front. For the first time today, they have trailed from the opening minute, Jindalee. They are undefeated so far this year. And all of a sudden, in time on in the final quarter, they've managed to wrestle back the lead. And now the roles are reversed, Mitch.
Well, that's right. So if you're Caloundra, you've got to get your best players into the middle now. We've seen Crack roll behind the footy a fair bit this game. She's gone into the centre for this bounce. Expect her to be the one to watch for this first clearance. Noonan's ahead of the footy. Perisic is ahead of the footy. In fact, Perisic has come into...
There's confusion reigns supreme at the moment.
So panic stations for Caloundra.
Perisic needs to go forward. She's caught on the wing at the moment. Fortunately for the Jaguars, they don't... for the Panthers, they don't give up the ball, so they have an even chance to contest it. Cracks in the ruck. Is there anything she can't do? Tackled straight away. Following up Crack. Trying to win the clearance. Jaguars a good chance here. Bannister, show of speed. Good kick. Perisic in front. Mark taken. 60 from goal. She needs to go quickly. She's got Noonan deep if she wants to. It's about 3 on 3. Lush comes from nowhere. Takes a strong mark. I just feel this might be out of her range.
Yeah, distance might challenge her a little bit.
Where's Crack? She's creeping forward. She's in a prime spot if she turns around now. Lush on her right foot. Top of the goal square. Won't have the legs. Dropped by the Jaguars. Bumped in away in the tackle. Crack picks it up. Shot on goal. To the right.
2 points, the margin. They're in the right spot for Caloundra to hit the lead and clinch this one. There's 2 minutes to go with a bit of change.
The Panthers need to ensure they find an opposition player and stand next to them. Kick in from the Jaguars. Blaw taken down in a great tackle. The Panthers bench not happy with that disposal because I can tell you from up here it was a throw, but the umpire was blindsided. The Panthers get the ball back inside forward 50. So we'll have a ball up. Dying stages of this grand final. We've had a couple of crackers here today at Red Rooster Park. The Moreton Bay Lions have done an excellent job of hosting.
So we've got Pericic in the ruck. Noonan's loose. Bannister's loose. All their key players for Caloundra in around this contest. They've got plenty of time. They don't need a rush of blood. But what they do need is a miracle. So Crack's nominated for the ruck again. She's putting this Panthers outfit on her back and say, let's go. She volleyball spikes it forward. That kick's gone out on the full. So there's an opportunity now through Noonan. She's going to send this ball deep inside 50, you'd expect, to the top of the goal square. Players are calling for it. Can anyone take a mark? Plenty of Jindalee at the flight of that. As the ball spills out the far side. Just stays in, now trickles out over the boundary line.
Mitch, Jindalee still have 2 players inside their forward 60 metres. I don't know why they're there at the moment. They should be in this defensive 50 for them. Time still yet. Crack in the ruck. Follows up. Tackle. Bannister. Free kick. Holding the ball. So it's going the way of the Panthers, sorry.
So Bree Grantel, the former Maroochydore QFAW star, she's going to have an opportunity. A super tough angle. She's going to have to kick it about 35. This will be an absolute outstanding goal if she can kick. We get a pretty good look at it from the goal. Can it be marked? Bobbling around. So many hands on that footy. There needs to be a rush kick. Jindalee's at the flight. They managed to repel once again. Who knows who this is going to end up. Grantel throws it forward. It's smothered. Bouncing around. The ball still in play. Bannister. She gets tackled. Did she get it away? The umpire says yes. It's desperate stuff now for Caloundra. Pericic with a footy. She's been great today. Goes long. In fact, I think it's been a free kicks paid.
In fact, no. I think there's a player down behind the play here, Mitch. And I think the umpire has called for the stretcher, or at least...
No, he's just waving over the trainer. So a little bit of concern there for a player of Jindalee. So, we have time to breathe. We're deep into the final quarter of the Division 2 North Grand Final. There are just 20-odd seconds remaining on the clock. It is absolute glory for one of these two sides here. Jindalee, they won't score again. They hold a 2-point lead. Caloundra, the only opportunity to score. So the player's going to get taken straight off the far side.
From a tactical point of view, Mitch, I know we've got a delay in play here. Jindalee still have 2 players forward of centre here.
It's almost set play. Rachel Crack's called her team in. She's like, we're going to have a ball up. This is what we're going to do. With not long on the clock, you get a very rare opportunity to set up an opportunity to kick a goal like this. So I think the player that's headed off is just tucked away behind the goals there. So she's going to head out and take no further part in this match. But I think it's going to be a ball up. So Rachel Crack continues to pinch hit in the ruck. It's got to be a quick snap on goal. As we just sort of wait for the injured player just to... As we now, Riley, see what we've been calling for is every player is now pushed down forward into deep inside 50. So we're going to restart play. This is it. All or nothing for Caloundra. And for Jindalee, it's an opportunity for them to hold on. So the ball heads straight back out of bounds and we'll have another boundary throw in. And to be honest, that's all Jindalee need.
Precious seconds off the clock, Mitch. I don't think Crack should be rucking here. Probably Perisic so that Crack can be at ground level. It's her up against Sides. Sides, the decisive hit out. Gains about 10 metres, although free kick going the way of the Jaguars.
And that will, I imagine, be it. I think the clock's off, but the seconds are going to tick away. And Jindalee, you would suspect, are going to prevail 2-point victors of this QFAW Division 2 North Grand Final. In absolute no hurry. Riley, get us to the siren.
The Jaguars come out here, broadcast side. Crack can't take the mark, and that's it. A perfect season for the Jindalee Jaguars. Players absolutely elated. They were scoreless at quarter time, down by 21 points, facing an arduous task. I think they've had a couple of players from one of the men's teams come on with their shirts off. From 21 points down at quarter time, yet to score. They got the margin back to 14 at half time. It was 2 points at three-quarter time, and as Mitch Simpson correctly called, whoever kicked the goal, the first goal in the final quarter, would go on to win the game. And the Jaguars would do that courtesy of one of their co-captains, Kat Bennett. A lovely kick from 25 metres out. And it means not only do the Jindalee Jaguars have a perfect season, they are also this year's QFAW Division 2 North premiers. The first time we've had a premier other than the Noosa Tigers in this comp since about 2019. An absolute cracking grand final for Caloundra. They started so well. They were hot out of the blocks, kicking the first 3 goals of the game. First goal in the first minute, courtesy of Emma Perisic. Sarah King bobbed up nicely for a couple of clever goals. And Rachel Crack kicked one as well. She definitely got Mitch and Mines 3 votes for best on ground today. But in the end, it was just a team effort from the Jaguars. They just grinded away and they continued to grind away. Really like the game of Dana Sides, Kat Bennett. Indiana Holdsworth was dangerous every time the ball went inside their forward 50. Alexis Hamilton was quite dangerous as a forward as well, especially pushing into the middle of the ground. It will be heartbreak for Caloundra. They led until time on in the final quarter. And fortunately for them now, that's 2 grand finals where they've fell at the final hurdle. But they'll be back next year, better and stronger. Which is their 3rd year in having a women's team. It's great to see the growth of female football in southeast Queensland and Queensland in general. But for Jindalee, absolute elation. Players from both sides and big huddles and hugs all around for the Jaguars. A great crowd here at this grand final today. We are going to keep live with the presentations, but that's going to be about all from the commentary box up here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to our production partners in Double Take Sports. It's been a couple of cracking grand finals here at Red Rooster Park today. Congratulations to the Jindalee Jaguars. Premiers by 2 points, 5-1-31, Caloundra 4-5-29. Thanks for tuning in, and if you want, stay on the stream to watch the presentations.